Tokuba.
And I'm Toyins.
Welcome to another episode of the TNT Podcast. So, on this episode, we have decided to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac.
We're just making Tokuba's day. You're excited she's getting...
So, I got Toyins to actually watch the Real Housewives of Potomac. And tell me, what did you think about it?
I'm going to have to get used to watching it. Let me just tell you this. So I'm sitting there. I watched it's 1 and 2 of season 8.
Correct, yeah.
And I'm like, should I be taking notes? Because I can't keep
up. You have so many questions, right?
I have a lot of questions. I'm like, okay, this is Robyn? Who's this and that? But yeah, I watched it and it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I really, really hope that is not their true character in life.
Girl, that is their true characters, man. Let's get into it. Let's see. Tell me, what are your questions? Let's talk about it. What did you think about the girls? What did you think about the Nigerian ladies?
So I do like Wendy.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm always attracted to intelligence. I like the fact that she's she's
professor.
She's a professor, and a few clips that I watched, I saw that she, the way she projects is not very aggressive. I like that.
Yeah.
Because there were a few things that were insinuated from some of the other women. And I felt like the way she kind of handled it. I mean, I don't know from previous episodes or previous seasons rather, but just from the little that I've watched.
I mean, she doesn't play all her cards. I mean, she definitely, she has her intelligence behind, she knows things, she watches everyone, and then, she acts accordingly.
And then for Nneka.
Yeah.
Who's the newbie on the show.
Yes. What do you think of her?
Clearly, there's some sort of, I think she's obnoxious, let's just say that for sure, because there were a few things that I thought wasn't necessary. Yeah. But maybe that's the way she's going to project throughout the show.
I think for me, she is, and I don't, obviously, we don't know any of these people, but I think she's coming in really, really hot. I feel like she's coming in and she's playing it so up for the cameras, because I just cannot believe that is how she is in real life, coming in and talking about my dad is a rich B.I.T. Like, come on, like who talks like that? Like
we have a house here, and here.
Yeah.
I was like, is this what they
when
do
she walked in, and then it's just like, and okay, lady, like I don't understand. And then for all that, your husband, like. I was just like, when he started talking, I'm like, did he just land yesterday? I don't understand.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to do what they do in the tub here. I'm like, what do they do in the tub here?
But with her little puppy, and then I was just like, what is happening? I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. She was just doing too much for me, and I feel like she was playing it so much. I feel like she's just playing it for the cameras. So I cannot believe that that's how she truly is acting. So I think she's trying to secure her spot for next season.
And then there's so many clips in my head right now that I'm just trying to piece
okay, maybe
together.
let's even start from I think the episode started with the whole Karen Huger.
So I have to figure out who Karen is again.
Karen is supposed to be the granddam of Potomac.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's the one with she's the oldest one on
there. Yeah.
I mean,
she's the granddam. Yeah.
Granddam?
Yeah, that's what she calls her.
her.
That's what she calls herself. She calls herself like, the one, she feels like she's the most sophisticated one. She's the one that tries to school all the ladies. They never have in it though. The ladies,
I don't know about the most sophisticated one.
Promptly. So
she, she didn't catch me from the get-go.
Yeah.
Wendy, I liked for sure.
Yeah.
Ashley. Is that the one with the Damon and something? That she named her new boobs?
She is just a little Tasmanian troublemaker.
She's a Tasmanian troublemaker.
He's just
she like I said, I'm just basing this off of the two episodes that I watched.
Yeah.
But from what I gathered, she's like, yeah, I like
a
her
troublemaker.
choice. Yes, she is a bit messy.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how she went ahead and was talking about, she would say stuff to Nneka.
Yeah.
Oh, she's this. Wendy is a professor.
Right.
No. She didn't say professor. She said she's a doctor. And then Nneka wanted to clarify.
Right. But you could tell that they've already spoken off camera. And so that was kind of the dig and the shade of, well, is she a medical doctor or is she a doctor of philosophy? Either way, she's a doctor. She didn't say she's not a doctor.
And of course, Wendy responded and said, oh, yeah, I'm very proud of what I have.
3%, right.
Yeah. 1% or so. Oh,
yeah,
3%, you're right.
But either way, what they're trying to say, like, she's not a doctor. Either way, whether she's a doctor, medical or philosophy, she's still a doctor. You're saying like she's using a title that she's like, it's not appropriate. She is a doctor.
So I thought that was a bit shady.
But that's what Ashley does. You see, if you're going to see this recurring thing that happens. Like Ashley will sit down with someone and she will go, that's fair. You know, I just want us to be able to get to a good place. I just want us to be able to, she will say stuff. And in that light, when I was talking to Nneka the other day, she had mentioned blah, 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 blah. She will say it in such a way that, right.
But she has a motive.
Yeah, she will say, so now you see that the whole way everything now plays out. Because when I watched that episode where Wendy and Nneka were introduced to each other, it looked peaceful. It looked like love. There was no issue right there. And then 2 minutes later, when Ashley was talking to Wendy, we saw where Ashley sowed that seed of discord, where Ashley now said to Wendy, Nneka said this and this about your family. Of course, that
talked about something about she's spiritual stuff.
She's an outcast.
And
that,
didn't she mention something about some spiritual stuff or some almost sort of like a
so that's coming from the clip. That's going to be the clip for the next episode. But where Ashley saw that seed was where Ashley was saying that Nneka said something about your family being an outcast and da 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 da. The funny thing is, where did Ashley even get all of this stuff from? But in her conversation when she was talking to her mom, remember she spoke about her friend Ngozi, which is Ngozi or whatever.
That's not part of the cast.
Right. So clearly Ashley has other Nigerian friends. That's probably where she's getting all this information
you don't know anything
from.
About that. What do you even know?
But to Nneka's defense, Nneka actually tried to dispel whatever it was that Ashley was saying, because when Ashley was saying things like, oh, Wendy's family, blah, 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 Nneka was like, well, that was abolished. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, why would anybody think that Wendy's family was part of that? That Nneka actually tried to dispel that. But then Ashley took it to Wendy, like Nneka was saying that. Now, of course, Wendy would believe that because how would Ashley have that information?
Yeah, because I'm like, she's just picking pockets of things here and then throwing it at her. Yeah. When I say her, I'm referring to telling Nneka this, but then you come back in the midst of your own house warming party. You take her out to go sit down. And then feed her with information that you already kind of like instigated.
That's what Ashley does.
She's gonna like turn them against each other.
Every season, that's what she does. And you know, you even heard the producers tell her that, but that wasn't what Nneka said. And then she goes, oh, I heard it wrong. Or I misremembered or something like that. But she's trying to be relevant.
Is there any ass whooping involved in this show? Because I feel like, how has she been going on with that?
Unfortunately, the wrong person got that in the past episodes. But you know, that's what she does. She's trying to secure her spot by being shady and doing stuff like that. But that's what she does. That's what Ashley does all the time.
So so basically, is how shady can I be to stay on?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Pretty much. The shadier you are, the more likely you're going to stay. Yeah. And that's what always happens with this show. Because, for instance, on the Atlanta Housewives, when someone like Cynthia Bailey, who you probably like,
I know the name, and I'm just trying to.
She never tried to get into all of this shade. And even the same with Candy. A lot of people always come for Candy like, oh, she's boring. they always call them boring when they don't want to get into fights and they don't want to get into stuff like that. They don't want to curse people out, then you're boring.
I guess they feel like drama is what.
Yeah, that's what people want.
The ratings.
But then they will say, why do women get into all this type of fights? But then if you don't, then you're boring. So
I really wish I could be part of their lives outside of that show, just to see what they really are.
Oh, in real life, if
like,
I don't, yeah,
don't
right?
you think that some part of that is truly them? What do you think?
I don't think that, I feel like maybe not. I feel like it could be truly them behind closed doors. I think a lot of these things come out because people, like, if I talk badly about you behind closed doors, but then when I see you, I'm always smiling in your face, you would never know. So you would never react to me accordingly. You would just always think it's all love there. What happens on those shows is that they get to truly see what those people are saying about them, and that's why people have attitudes.
But the little that I watched, Ashley, she's very good at the whole manipulative stuff.
Yeah.
Ashley
is good.
So
right.
I'm almost like, are you sure that's not a portion of her?
Who she really is? But that's the thing, is that probably she's done stuff like that and set a lot of relationships ablaze, and those people have probably never figured out what happened.
Where did this start stemming from?
Right.
And she's like, oh,
yeah.
You guys should
and
really
she invites all of them to her parties. Yeah.
In the midst of her housewarming party, you take somebody out to go and do all of this.
She did it last year. She did it to Candace, who's not there. There's one of the girls that came in to her party, who's her friend. She claimed that Candace's husband was trying to hit on that girl. And nobody was trying to hit on that girl. And so she does stuff like that all the time to try to stay relevant. So, yeah.
I don't know.
People like that. But I think right now with the whole thing with Nneka, it's a shame now because it's now this whole trickle-down effect.
So let's see what happens next time. But at some point, they're definitely going to have to confront each other.
I think. Well, no, I think in the clip coming up, I think you hear that Wendy's mom has now reached out to Nneka's cousin and gone off. So this has now started World War III.
It's going to be the collision of the evil chicks.
What did you think about Mia?
Okay, so Mia is the one that don't tell me. She had she reached out. She's the one that's going through something with they had to downsize their home because of some.
She's an ex-stripper.
Okay, but I noticed that what do you call her again? Robyn, the one? No, not Robyn.
We're gonna get to Robyn. We're gonna get to Robyn.
But who I really wanted. So let me make sure that I do know who I'm talking about. Mia is the one that had requested to meet with
Karen.
Yes. I guess something that they had going last time. She was trying to make up.
Yes.
And she refused to give her a hug when they met.
Correct.
Okay, because she was like, we're not there yet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because last season, Mia and Karen were supposed to be close. But then Mia did not back Karen up when the girls started saying malicious things about Karen and about Karen's marriage. So Karen felt betrayed by Mia, like when there was, and even Mia participated in some of those things. So that's why Mia is now like, oh, I'm sorry for those things. And Karen is like, okay, now you have to work your way back to earning my trust.
Okay. She's also the one that starts drinking. She claims she stopped taking hard liquor.
She stopped drinking, but she drinks wine.
Oh, well. And I remember her husband saying, but it has almost the same amount or whatever. Right. And that she blames her loquacious ways or whatever on the liquor.
Yeah. Well, Mia lies. Mia lies a lot. Because last season, she claimed she had cancer. And she lies.
And she didn't have cancer.
She didn't have cancer. So, and then
who does that?
Yeah, she does that. But also when she was talking about how she last season also her husband always outs her lies. So last season too, when she was talking about my medical treatment, and then the husband was like, what, when, what? So just like what he did now when she was saying,
but how do you?
When she was like, I stopped drinking. And the husband was like, well, you did?
I know, he looked like
and then she quickly had to now change it to, I still drink wine.
Stuck on the fact that you would lie that you have cancer.
She came up like,
cancer on yourself.
I think what happened last season, like maybe they felt something and they had not diagnosed her with anything, but she started running with the fact that she had cancer, but she really didn't. And then when she tried to play it off and she thought her husband was going to now say the same thing, and he was like basically saying, I think you brought that on yourself.
So tell me,
there's
one person that I also wanted to talk about. Is it Robyn?
Robyn.
She's the one that's married to an ex-basketball player who's also going through. Is it Robyn?
Yes.
What's
Robyn.
her name?
Robyn. And Robyn and Gizelle are best friends.
Okay.
They came under a lot of attack last year because they come in and they talk about every other person's relationship. But apparently, Robyn has been going through a lot of infidelity rumors because her husband, who was the coach, or I think he was the coach, not assistant coach, at Coppin.
I heard, I read that somewhere.
So there was a lot of issues with him, and him and Robyn actually just got remarried last year.
They got a divorce, obviously.
They had been divorced for many years, but they lived together due to finances and things like that.
That's another story.
And because of their kids, they lived together. But they had divorced also for infidelity. And so when he was a big was NBA player, it's NBA, right?
Yes, it's NBA.
I was like, is it NBA or NFL?
No. It's NBA.
So yeah, they divorced way back when. But for many years, everyone kept saying, oh, they're going to get back together, whatever. So last year, they finally got married. But there was always it always looked like she was more into him than he was into her.
Okay.
But then one of the seasons, I think it was the season before last, he really played it like, he was back. He wanted to be in the relationship and everything. And we were all rooting for them. And then he proposed. I mean, it was a beautiful moment. Everybody thought, okay, this is good. All of a sudden, last season, it almost seems like he's back into this.
It's funny, when I was watching, she caught my attention just because I didn't know the full story to the whole thing, but I knew that there were like 3 things that they had mentioned that happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if there's still an alleged thing, but obviously there was that where he paid for the receipt. He paid for.
There was some girl came.
How do you just go pay
She was in a hotel. He claims she came in to see somebody else.
And her card or something.
And he went to the hotel and paid for the room for her.
So that's a bit funny, but hey. And then there was something else about a laundromat.
He went to meet some girl at the laundry while they were doing the team's uniform.
So obviously they've had issues in the past for things
And then
like
he
that.
went to the nail salon with another female. What in the world?
But what I noticed about her is while she's talking to him about it, I sense some sort of, she was a bit timid. I mean, I know it's you can approach things in a subtle way, but it seemed as though there was some. Now, this is me not even knowing previous history, but I could just tell that she was very timid in her approach to him, and it was as though, oh yes, they want us to get into a fight.
Yeah,
but there was just something about it. I was like, if you feel like you're not comfortable, are you going to speak to him about it?
I don't
stop letting these other women come in there and want to bring the topic as like it's their topic. Address the situation within yourself, between you and your man or whatever. But she kept going, oh, and the girl, and I don't know. What does she refer to them? Girls?
From the very beginning, that has always been how Robyn acts. Robyn always acts like she doesn't care when she really cares, right? So I don't think it's not that she's not true to herself. She's not true to herself on camera.
Oh,
I think Robyn always tries to act like it doesn't affect her, but I think it affects her more than she tries to let on camera. So prior to him proposing to her, prior to him, when they used to do the thing where they just live together and she would say, oh, we live together, we sleep together, we do whatever, but we're not together, right? And then people would say they see him with one woman or whatever. She would say, what does it matter? We're not together. But she always used to act like it didn't bother her, but it did bother her, right? Then eventually so in prior seasons, when people would bring that up to her at a party, she would be like, what do you guys want me to do? We're not together. We're not together. She would always say that. And she would act like she was getting mad at the people. Like it didn't bother her, but it did bother her, right? Yeah.
You know, that whole thing about not being together but still living together, I think it's messed her up because it's a bit weird for me.
But
if you're not
that's
together, why are you living together?
Because I think that she actually really loves him more than he loves her. And I think for her, she's going to take him any way she can have him. And I think so that's why she always tries to play it off like she doesn't care, like it doesn't bother her. So when they were having that conversation, right, that conversation is so much for her she's always deflecting. She's always trying to say, it's not me. I don't care what they say, because she doesn't want it to come across like it's affecting her. But it's affecting her. You can see
Clearly.
why she's just quickly making up all these excuses on camera, because she doesn't want it to be like I'm not the one saying it. This is what they're saying. And I think she's almost wishing that he gets it. Like she's almost wanting him to be like, why are you putting me in this situation? Why are you making, but she's also at the same time doesn't want him to get mad at her to say, so she's trying to quickly say, I'm not the one saying it. It's what they're saying.
Because she just seemed to be, he said, I don't care.
Right.
I think I mentioned, I think the issue for me, I just feel like the issue here is the fact that they were living together, but they were not together. So obviously he had his own life. He was doing his thing.
The issue is that he really doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care, but
and even when they lived together, he didn't care.
And they were living together. So she really probably would have been like, we're not together. So I'm not going to ask you to not go out and date somebody else.
Right.
So that whole, she's been living that kind of life.
But even when they were living together and he would go out and do what he was doing, he would still come home and sleep with her.
And they were not together.
They were not together. So she said it. She said, well, we're not together. They would come, he would sleep with her. They would sleep in the same bed. So for a woman, she was emotionally attached to him. He was not emotionally attached to her. So for many years, and I think because of the show, eventually, she thought that, okay, he had come around and whatever, maybe she thought things were going to change. But he's telling her, I don't care. He means it. And she's trying to sit there and act like, you know, she's okay with it when she's not okay with it. You can see behind her eyes where she's almost looking at him and pleading to say, why are you doing this? Because you saw in the next episode when she's like, they almost wonder, why do you keep doing this to me? But it's not, but I'm not going to tell you. She's making quickly so that he doesn't get mad at her. Like, it's not me, it's them. It's what they're saying. I'm not saying it.
That is sad.
But you can tell that it really affects her.
Of course.
But she's acting like it doesn't.
It's really, really sad. If that's what she's had to live with. It's so unfortunate. But
she's the one putting herself in that position. And one day she's going to wake up and find out that this man does not. They said one of the seasons, they caught it on camera where he actually said, I don't want to be here.
Oh.
Yeah, he said it before. He didn't know that the camera was on or whatever. And he said it. Like,
so out of nowhere, he just came and he was
he was just frustrated.
He proposed to her again.
Yeah.
After saying that.
Yeah. And he had said it that I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I didn't know. Just from what I saw, it's just like something is not right here. It feels as though she's
holding on to someone who does not want to be with her. And everybody knows it. They've told her. But the only reason that Gizelle, her friend, is now coming out and actually addressing this, because she's never addressed it before in the past, is because everybody came for her last season. Because last season, apparently before the episode before they started taping, there was a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff had already happened, but they hid it. And they never talked about it, but they were talking about other people's infidelity when they knew that this had already occurred within their friend group.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Real Housewives.
So
is it even real?
It's
is it real?
It's made up housewives. So it's what did they say? It's perception, or this perceived reality, so to speak.
Well, I guess,
but I mean, it's somewhat real. It's real, but what they want you to see, how they want you to see it. Are they going through what they're going through? They're going through what they're going through.
Well, we're just gonna have to see how everything evolves with this
Yeah.
season. But I'm really, really curious as to how Wendy and Nneka are going to interact.
Yeah.
Now that they've established this.
I hope at some point that they figure out that Ashley is playing them.
Yeah.
And I hope at some point that they're able to come to, because don't you think they look alike?
They do look
I
alike.
think they look alike.
Yes, there's
That's
some
so
resemblance there.
funny. But yeah, there's so much, like we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yes, at all, right?
Those women are interesting.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, so I'm interested to see, just, keep watching, but I'm so glad that we converted you. And
don't
now
know if
you
I'm
actually
converted yet.
sat down, but you watched it.
I watched it, yeah.
You watched 2 episodes. But all your Toyins might be like, what is this? Like, this
Initially,
is too
I was
much.
like, am I supposed to take notes with this? Because I'm like, who was who?
Were you like having like, wait, what's happening? What's happening?
I watched the first episode and then I said, okay, I'm going to take a break now and then come back to it. But then because they would have those flashbacks, they kind of helped me to figure out what was going on here and there.
Really good at doing that.
And then I was just trying to read each character, trying to get a feel for, how is this person really? But even though I'm like, does it have a little bit of them in that show? Or is it just all like pleasing the producers in a way or something?
No, I
don't know,
actually believe it's them at some point, But I think it's interesting for you to see your view, since that you actually didn't see it from the beginning, from season 1. You're watching from season 8. But, you've been pretty spot on.
But that is Ashley's character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I believe.
No, she is a nuisance. She is like a little Tasmanian nuisance. Yeah.
What? Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens and then come back at some point.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Well, we'll see you next time.
Have a great one.